A humbucker pickup consists of a pair of plastic bobbins, a keeper bar, a plastic spacer, an Alnico 5 magnet, a nickel-silver base plate, a length of hookup wire, slugs, some adjustable screw pole pieces, and then some lead wire. I use a homemade winding machine to fill the bobbin with 44 gauge wire. It'll take about 6,000 rotations to completely fill the bobbin. After I finish winding the coil, I need to protect it, so I wrap it with some plumber's tape. Plumber's tape works great because later on, when I pot the pickups, the wax will soak into the plumber's tape, and when the wax cools, it forms a very durable surface, and that protects the coil from damage. The next step is to solder a different colored lead wire to each end of the coil wire where it comes off the bobbin. First, I have to tin the wire with some solder. Then I carefully attach one end of the coil wire to one end of the lead wire and then solder it into place. After I've attached the two leads to each end of the coil, I test it with a multimeter to make sure that the coil is functioning properly. I like to magnetize my own pickups. To do this, I slide the Alnico bar between two very powerful magnets and then close them together in a vise. This will magnetize the bar. To determine the orientation of the bar once it's magnetized, I use a very simple homemade gauge meter. This will tell me which side is the north side and which side is the south side. I like to use 4-conductor hookup wire. To install it, I start by soldering the bare wire to the base plate. This will help reduce noise in the pickup when it's finished. Now I can start to install the adjustable pole pieces in the screw bobbin. I'll start by just adding the two end screws. It makes it easy to put it all together. For the slug bobbin, I can go ahead and install all the slugs at the same time. Now all that's left to do is to sandwich all the parts together. The two bobbins are each held in place with a pair of brass bobbin screws. Now I can make all the connections between the hookup wire and the lead wires. I do this by matching the colored wires together and then twisting the ends together before I solder them. To prevent the pickup from shorting out, it's necessary for me to clip down the solder joints to make them as short as possible and then cover them with some heat shrink tubing. This will prevent the joints from touching and causing the pickup to lose power. The heat from a soldering iron is sufficient to shrink the tubing. To clean up the installation, I'll tuck the wires in between the bobbins very carefully. Gently push the wires into place, but do so carefully. You don't want to damage the coils. Now I can install the remaining adjustable pole pieces. A 10-minute bath in wax will help to seal the pickup and reduce unwanted microphonics. After removing the pickup, while it's still hot, I quickly wipe off any remaining wax residue. The last step is to wrap the pickup in some cloth bobbin tape. Then it's ready to install on the Highline Special guitar.